Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Shilpa Data Insights.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Shilpa Data Insights. In today's video, we are going to discuss one major interview question. This particular interview question will not be a SQL or PySpark, but as in data engineering field, Python is one of the major language which is used. So I will be covering one interview question that is actually the most asked interview questions in service-based company, and that I will be covering in Python. So if you are trying to go ahead and practice Python interview question, this playlist is actually for you. I've already solved some questions related to DSA, which is related to searching and sorting. You can check it out. But this particular question is really important because this is us in actual interviews. So let's get started with today's interview question that is asked in Python in data engineering interviews. So we have a question here. So the question says, find the largest element in the array. So if you are given an array, the array can be of length 1, 2, 3, 5 or 10 or any number of elements in the array, then I need to find the largest element. So largest element, if you see in this particular example that I have, is 5, right? So out of 2, 5, 1, 3 and 0, what is my largest element? It is 5. By just looking at it itself, I am able to figure out it is 5, because in the school days or when you were in class 1 or 2, you were able to figure out how to find the largest element. So it is in your memory, so you know it. Now you have to tell the same thing to the computer, exactly how you can find the array, the largest element in the array. So in order to find the largest element in the array, you actually need to either sort the array, right, and get the element out of it, or you compare each element with each other and see which one is your largest element, right? So for example, in the first approach, we will go ahead and sort the elements. So if I sort the elements, let's say if I sort the elements, I will have the array as 0, 1, 2, 3 and 5. This will be by sorted array, right? So now you know that, okay, my last element is my largest element. This is one approach in which you can do it, right? What could be the other approach? The other approach is, instead of actually sorting the array, what I can also do is, let's say this is my array, I can compare 2 with 5, right, and see which one is the largest. Among 2 and 5, 5 is the largest. Then I will compare 5 with 1. Which one is the largest? 5 is the largest. Then I will compare 1 with 3. So what I will do is, I will store, this is my largest element so far till 2, 5, 1, which is my largest element 5, right? So I compared 5 with 1 and my largest element is stored 5. Now I will compare 3. Now what was the earlier largest element? It was 5. Now if I compare 5 with 3, my largest element is 5. Now among these, my largest element is 5. Now I just have one last element, that is 0. Now I need to compare 5 with 0. So if 5, which one is the largest element? 5. So my largest element is 5. So in this example, what you figured out is, you need to actually store somewhere the largest element so that you can compare with each further element in the list. So in this, what we did is, we first, let's say, I will consider my largest element as 5, as 2, right? I'll consider the first element as the largest element. Now, after I consider the first element as the largest element, what I will do is, I'll compare 2 with 5. So if I compare 2 with 5, which is the largest element? It is 5. Then I will compare the 5 with 5. Which is the largest element? It is still 5, because 5 is equal to 5. Then I will compare 5 with 1. Which is my largest element? It is 1. Then I will compare 5 with 3. Which is my largest element? It is 5. Then I will compare the largest element again with the next element of the array, which is 0. So my largest element is 5, right? So this is my way of solving this particular question. So let's try to solve it in the first approach, where it's simple. You just sort the array with the help of a functionality of Python, which is the sort function, which is available in the Python module. And then we can go ahead and get the element, which is the large. So in this, I will do a def. I'll create a function, which is using the def, you would be knowing. So def sort array. I'll sort the array. Inside this particular array, I will go ahead and do an array dot sort. So I'm doing a sorting of the array. So if I do a sort dot array, what it will do is, it is going to give me like this. This is going to give me, let me write it down. Let me 0, 1, 2, 3, and 5. It's going to give me this, right? Now I need to get the element which is largest. So if you see, the last element is my largest element, right? So I will do a return. I'll return which element? I'll return the last element. How will you find the last element of the Python list? It is using the -1 index. So this is my -1 index, this is my -2 index, this is my -3, this is my -4, and this is my -5. So I'm going to return an array which is the last index, which is array of -1, because I'm sorting the array in ascending order. Now, in this particular thing, what I will do is, I'll go ahead and call this particular function. So what is my function name? It is sort array. So I'll call this particular function, okay, and let me execute this so that I have my list already, and I will print this particular data. So now you see what is my output? Output is 5, because it's the largest element. So what should be the time complexity for this particular scenario? The time complexity will be, as we are actually going ahead and sorting the array. For sorting the array, the time complexity is O(n) log n. Now, if I have not used any new array, so the space complexity is still O of 1. This is one way to solve the question. Let's see another way to solve this particular question, which is to compare each element. So what I will do is, I will again do a def array sort. Let's say I will put it 2 because I am using the approach 2. Now in this, I will use the maximum here, okay. I'll calculate the maximum as, let's say I will take it as an element, okay, and I will see if each element is maximum out of it. So I'll just use maximum here, float of inif. What does this mean? It means I'm assigning a value to a maximum variable, and that value is the infinity, which is -infinity. So any value which is there, that should be greater than -infinity value. So therefore, that is my maximum value. So I'm placing a variable maximum. Then I will be iterating it through the loop using the for loop, and I'm checking what is the maximum element, whether array of I is maximum or the maximum element that we had is the maximum, right? And then we will do an array of the sort. So let me execute this and show you the result should come right. So here is my result. So if you do a dry run, okay, in this dry run, let's do a dry run and show, okay. So this is my array, okay. So I have to iterate it through this particular loop. So in the iteration 1, so which is I is equal to 0, my A of I is what? A of I is 2. Inside the A of I 2, I will have, what is my maximum. Out of 2 and infinity, my maximum value is 2. Okay. Now, in the iteration 1, a of I is what? A of I is 5. See, it is so clever that it is actually doing that what I'm writing it down. The Databricks is so clever, right? Now it's AI inbuilt. So now I of 1 is what? It is 5. This is my 5, right? So it will compare 5 out of the 2. Which one is maximum? 5 or 2? It is 5. Okay, so my maximum is now 5. Now in the iteration 2, the value is 1. Okay, so I have put a of I as 1. Now what is the maximum out of it? Is it 5 or is it 1? It is 5. Now in the iteration 3, my value is 3. So which one is greater? Now my maximum was 5. 5 is greater than 3, right? So my maximum is 5. Now in iteration 4, 0 is the value. So which one is the maximum, 0 or 5? It is 5. So my maximum value is 5, right? This is the way how you have to think, right, and approach the solution. So in order to approach the solution, if you just sit down and try to do it, you may be able to solve it, may not be able to solve it, but practice makes a man's perfect, right? So what you need to do here is you think of the logic. That is major. You have to think how to approach the solution. So to think, you see, okay, I have an array. I can compare each element from each other to see the maximum. And to see the maximum, I have to store that particular maximum variable, maximum value in a variable. So that maximum variable contains the maximum value, and then you compare with each element of the array and you assign that particular value as the maximum. So this is my dry run. Okay, try to practice it by your own with the help of your hands. In a notepad, try to do a dry run. This is called a dry run. Okay, so you actually pick each element from the list and you try to dry run, see if what is your result that should come. From your eyes, you know that 5 is your maximum, but in order to how it is getting computed, you have to write this code and how exactly at each step the output actually looks like. That is actually the dry run that you are doing. Now, if you talk about the time complexity of this particular thing, as you are iterating through the loop and each element is iterated, the time complexity, if n is the length of the array, the time complexity used here will be O of n. And what will be the space complexity? It will again be O of n. We are using a maximum variable and we are actually also going ahead and storing the maximum. So the maximum here also it is O of n. So these are the two approach. It's a simple question, but it's a very famous interview question that is asked in most of the service-based organization. So if you try to solve this question, try to build your logic, right? The logic may not come in one day. You have to practice it every day to actually build your own logic, right? So I will come up with the next video in which we will go ahead and see how to find the second largest element also, right? So stay tuned for that particular video. And till the next video, keep learning and keep growing. And do not forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you so much for watching, and I wish you have a good day.